So if you're looking for sample proposals and sample projects to build your own project around, there are a couple of places online which you want to check before you do anything else, because they are the closest you will get to sort of sample ideas for projects that you might be kind of considering. And that will tell you whether they've actually been funded or not, and whether the agency, like the National Science Foundation or the National Endowment for the Humanities, will support those kinds of projects. The reason you need to do that is because it's really hard to find sample proposals to actually look at. It's easy enough to talk to people who've had grants sometimes, if you can single them out and ask them about their project. But if you really want to look at a proposal and see what it looks like and get a sense of how you have to write it and how you have to think about a project, then you want to check out the couple of online options. The first one is the Dell website, which is available, public, out there for everybody. And when you find that website, if you scroll to the bottom, you'll see there's a link to abstracts. And that will take you to a place where you can see every project that was ever funded under Dell, at least an abstract of it. That means just a very short summary. So when you see that summary, you can look at it and look for things like who is involved in the project, how long are they proposing to do things for, and I know you'll want to know how much money they got for it. That is a good place to start, because that will give you a feeling for what kinds of projects are being supported. The other place, if you want to look at actual proposals, is the link for the National Endowment for the Humanities, which supports the Documenting Endangered Language Fellowships. They also support some grants. And on their website, you can find sample narrative proposals, which I think is really helpful, because then you can see not only what people were thinking about doing, but how they had to write it up. And so I would start with those two things. And if after you look at those things, you start then thinking about your own project, consider a few options that will help you secure funding. One that I like to recommend is if you're planning to document your language, if it hasn't been done fully, or even if it has, if you can find a way to cross a discipline, that is, do something more than just language, look at, maybe you want to look at place names, just for example, and you want to document those. That's tricky because sometimes it's just straight data gathering. If you want to make it more interesting so that you get funding, think about looking at the other programs at the National Science Foundation that might be interested in that topic. So for instance, if you do place names, look at the geography program. Go to their link, find out what they fund, and see if there's something that would be similar to what you want to do. And then when you apply, you ask for a co-review. And you say to the Dell program, I would like this reviewed by geography as well, because some of the things I'm doing don't just document language, they document our history through place names. Something like that. Let's take something like ethnobotany. Maybe you're interested in documenting medicinal plants in your area and the language that is used to talk about them or to describe them or to identify them. So then you have a cross-discipline, what we call cross-discipline, cross-area study that you could apply to more than one program. What that does is help the people at the Dell program fund your proposal, because they can ask other people for additional funds, because you're doing more than just documenting language. You're documenting ethnobotany, whatever you're looking at, okay? So those are just a couple of tricks. The other, if you know somebody that's had a project, it's okay to call, I think, and ask them, can I talk to you about what we want to do? And, you have some sense of the National Science Foundation. Can you just help me get some insights about that? I think the best projects I've seen are fully collaborative projects. There's lots of levels for collaboration. So I've just described one as going across disciplines, where you get an expert in language and an expert in botany or an expert in astronomy is a big one. Lots of interesting areas. And you bring those people together along with your community team, and that makes a really strong project. You can also collaborate, you can show collaboration on a lot of levels. Collaboration between your community and a university, collaboration with other communities, collaboration with different people within your community. There's a lot of ways to build strong projects. Those projects that show, I like to say they have legs, which sounds a little funny, but they can really stand up to a lot of scrutiny when you apply for funding, because it isn't just one person sort of saying, hey, I want to do this. It builds your credibility to show that you've gotten other people involved in your project and that there's a small army ready to do what you want to do. So, and you try to find the best people you can. So in terms of sample proposals, let me just reiterate that. Look at the online sources first, and then see if you can reach out to anybody, and then think really creatively about how you can strengthen it beyond just a straight documentation. Not that that's wrong, because it's good, but it gives it more depth if you can look at other areas to collaborate with, or people to collaborate with, or disciplines to bring into the picture.